Okay.
Nice toss. Okay, ready when you are.
Okay, let us begin now with the meditation. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere. Neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings, one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hate or resentment, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or whenever awake. One should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desires for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. With this metta in mind, let us continue our practice. We have given very important instructions from the beginning of this series of talks. I think by now I don't have to repeat the same instructions. You may all remember all of them. Now let us practice. Dukkha patta cha nidukkha, bhaya patta cha nibhaya, soka patta cha nisoka, hontu sabbe pipanino. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be. With this metta thought, friends, let us focus our mind on the Dhamma. Today I want to talk on the enlightenment factor of investigation of the Dhamma. This also is very important factor. It very beautifully, systematically, logically comes to the mind when we have developed mindfulness, or any meditator honestly practice mindfulness with clear comprehension. The person's mind is always ready for investigation. When the mindfulness is not there, the person can be mindful to be mindful. When one is mindful, one see whether it is right mindfulness or not. Seeing whether it is right mindfulness or not is an investigation. So these two go together, work together, and they support each other. When mindfulness factor is there, investigation also naturally arises there. So the Buddha said in the discourse, when one knows that this very beautiful combination is taking place in that person's mind, then one knows, yes, these two work together. Mind investigation of Dhamma, fact of enlightenment, sees whether one's mindfulness is right mindfulness or wrong mindfulness, or whether one has mindfulness or not mindfulness, and so forth. So when this is taking place, one knows that investigation factor of enlightenment is there. Now, this factor is right view or right understanding, and one practices it because it is noble, it is not mundane, it is supramundane. Because mindfulness itself leads to supramundane attainment. Investigation of Dhamma also supports it. So the qualities and qualification of that is, it is noble, taintless, supramundane, and factor of the path. This is a factor of the Noble Eightfold Path. And this is called the wisdom or the faculty of wisdom, the power of wisdom, the investigation of Dhamma enlightenment factor. It is the path factor of right view in one whose mind is noble, whose mind is taintless, who possesses the noble path and is developing the noble path. This is right view, that is noble, taintless, supramundane factor of the path. Now, noble eightfold path, when the person is promoted to the noble state, that person's mind is taintless. It is the path factor, it is wisdom. It is the wisdom that investigates, not partially, but impartially. Not with taints, but without taints. Investigation is the very wonderful mental state. And the Buddha gives nourishment for the investigating factor of enlightenment. Nourishment, the root, food. What is that? Buddha questioned it. And what because is the nutriment for the arising of unarisen enlightenment factor of investigation of Dhamma, and for the fulfillment by development of the investigation of Dhamma. So, when one has it, one knows that he has investigation factor of Dhamma. If the one does not have it, it is in a way starving. No investigation of Dhamma is in the mind. Then one must arouse one's energy of four types, especially the things that prevent his gaining of the investigation factor of enlightenment, investigation. If any factor hinders, he avoids that and overcomes it with great effort. And then the third effort is to arouse the investigation factor of enlightenment. And when one arouses factor of investigation factor, then he knows that it is there. He does all this with mindfulness. Then when it is there, he develop it, cultivate it, nourish it. And for the nourishment, he needs to understand wholesome and unwholesome states. Wholesome Dhamma and unwholesome Dhamma. Without mindfulness, you don't know which is wholesome, which is unwholesome. And then when we investigate, we see even deeply, more deeply, that this is wholesome, this is unwholesome. What is wholesome Dhamma and what is unwholesome Dhamma? Unwholesome Dhamma has underlying greed, hatred and delusion. And wholesome Dhamma does not have greed, hatred and delusion. For instance, when one in meditation suddenly remembers somebody, some situations, some experience through the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind. And if those situations, the sight, sound, smell, taste, touch and thought, if they prompt the person's greed, then one knows that those are unwholesome dhammas, those sight, sound and so forth. And at that time also the person knows, why do I have it? Because I don't have mindfulness. So when investigation Dhamma, fact of enlightenment arises, it not only investigates but also knows why this Dhamma is unwholesome, because I have not been mindful. So it supports the mindfulness to arouse. And when wholesome Dhamma arises, Dhamma without greed, hatred, meaning sight, sound, smell, taste, touch and so forth, arise without any greed, hatred and delusion. When they arise, one sees them arising and immediately passing away. They don't linger in the mind unless we are obsessed with greed, hatred and delusion. They don't stay in the mind, they disappear. So one should be able to make the distinction between wholesome and unwholesome when one investigates. And then when one investigates, Buddha said these are the nourishments for investigation of Dhamma. Blamable and unblameable Dhamma, or blamable and blameless Dhamma. Naturally blamable, anything that we do to hurt ourselves, hurt others, or hurt both, that is blamable. If we think and say or do something to hurt us, others, or both, that is blamable. When our thoughts, words and deeds are not hurting oneself, not hurting others, they are all beneficial for us, for others, then it is blameless Dhamma, wholesome Dhamma. Inferior Dhamma and superior Dhamma. What is inferior Dhamma? Inferior Dhamma is thinking that one is superior to others. I am better than others. My education and so forth, one compares oneself with others in a wrong way to promote one's own ego. That is inferior Dhamma. Superior Dhamma is seeing the equality of us. All living beings have the same sight, sound, smell, taste and so on, and they all are arising and passing away. They all are impermanent, they all are unsatisfactory, and they all are selfless. In this respect, we all are one. We see them happening in us, and then we realize this is how it happens to others as well. Therefore, in this respect, we all are one. There is no any difference. That is superior Dhamma, teaching, thinking of equality, thinking of universal nature of all our lives is a superior Dhamma. This is a very lofty thought, great thought, and that is another nourishment of the investigation of Dhamma, enlightenment factor. This enlightens us. This leads us to enlightenment, because when it culminates in attaining enlightenment, we can behave towards all living beings in the same way, with compassion, loving friendliness, and so on. Then dark Dhamma and bright Dhamma. Dark Dhamma makes the mind dark. Bright Dhamma makes the mind bright. Dark Dhamma is depression, degradation, lowering oneself, and thinking very low about oneself. That is dark Dhamma. And doing wrong things is dark Dhamma. Saying wrong things is dark Dhamma. And thinking wrong thing is dark Dhamma. What is the bright Dhamma? Bright Dhamma is the Dhamma that can bring the pleasure, joy to us, and bring joy and pleasure to others, and make others happy as well as we become happy. That is the bright Dhamma. When we have a happy thought, the mind is smiling. You can make that others also smile by bringing happy thoughts into their minds. That is a bright Dhamma. So, being courteous and friendly with others, you arouse their bright Dhamma. Then, the person who frequently giving careful attention to them is the nourishment for the arising of the unarisen enlightenment factor of investigation of Dhamma, and for the fulfillment of, by development of the arisen enlightenment factor of investigation of Dhamma. So these are the Dhammas we have to repeatedly cultivate in our mind. And there is another very important thing related to this investigation of Dhamma that I like to bring up for making this point of investigation even in mundane level. We all know Kalama Sutta. Kalama Sutta, very often people quote Kalama Sutta only to get away with anything they want. Anything they do wrong, justify using Kalama Sutta. What do they use for, to justify them? In the Kalama Sutta, Buddha said, do not go upon what has been acquired by repeated hearing. That is called oral history or mere hearsay. I have heard such and such from so and so, and therefore it must be true. When millions and millions of people repeat the same wrong thing, you also believe that since so many people believe and say the same thing, that must be true. That is what you see this commercial ad does when they want to sell something. How bad it is can make it acceptable, beneficial to everybody when many people repeat it. More money they pay, many times they play the same ad, and then finally you tend to believe that it is true, you buy that. So that is the kind of things that Buddha said, do not believe in that. Investigate. Investigate. And then tradition, Buddha said, do not believe anything because it comes from our tradition. One can start something and his children may do the same thing, and then others will do the same thing, and no matter how wrong it is, when so many people, generation after generation, do the same thing again and again, that becomes the norm, and people accept it, believe it, follow it. Various rituals you can see in the society, in our life, we do blindly. Why? Because it came from through generation after generation. It comes as a tradition. One might say this is our tradition. So no matter how bad it is in practice, how unbeneficial, how harmful it is, they continue to follow the tradition. The Buddha said, therefore, do not believe anything that comes from repeated doing in generation after generation, repeated practice. And then he gave 10 such situations. Know upon rumors. So you hear people say so and so is doing such and such a wonderful, marvelous things, and you flock to that person. Many people go there to see that person, listen to that person, and try to imitate that person and that teaching and so forth. Eventually you find it meaningless, empty thing. Without inquiry, you just go there. We know so many things. People do, they follow without, I know for instance, somebody said there was a guru who has lived for 600 years, and if you ask him, have you seen him? No, I have not seen him, but I have heard so and so said. So you go to that person and he says, I have not seen, but I have heard from so and so. I have been to a place in Malaysia. They said a woman can cure your any sickness by just being in her presence. So people were, lined up. So one of my friends also took me there. And it is such a fake thing. She had a large amount of eggs, and somebody goes and says that he had some aches and pains here and there. She would keep talking with everybody and then take an egg and break it and say, sometimes you can see the embryo with blood. Then she said, here is, I removed the blood clot. You had the blood clot, I removed it. So many people line up and she make them believe that. But the rumor was that she was able to perform miracles to cure people. And just mere hearsay, they say that. I wanted to make it sure whether she does something correct or not. So when I went there, I investigate, I saw it, that it was completely fakey, deceptive practice. So the Buddha said, don't believe in mere hearsay, investigate, investigate. Then uh, some say, some believe in certain spiritual scriptures. It is said in the scriptures, in the Buddhist people use especially this part. It says Ma Pitaka Sampadaya. Pitaka means they think, Pitaka means Tipitaka. Buddha did not mean the Tipitaka there, but in certain scriptures. It can be written scripture or oral scripture. And people say it is written in such and such a place. Things can be written. Many people say, I read it in such and such a book. Whenever they want to prove something, they say, I read it in such and such a book. Therefore, it must be true. Anybody can write any lie, any false, any fake, wrong things in a book. And therefore, by just writing in a book, it doesn't make wrong right. So Buddha said, don't believe in that. So people say, some Buddhist people say, therefore, even if you find something in the Buddhist books, Tipitaka, Sutta, Vinaya, Abhidhamma, even if the truth is written there, don't believe in that. Now, to make it worse, they say, that is not what you find in Kalama Sutta. They say that Buddha said that you do not believe in what I say. If Buddha did not want us to believe in what he said, why did he spend 45 years teaching? He should have attained enlightenment and passed away as soon as he attained enlightenment. But he spent 45 years teaching this message. Message is to investigate, ask us to investigate even in his teaching. So this is what happens when people grasp the Dhamma incorrectly, like catching a snake. So that is how they misunderstand even investigation. Then he said, don't believe in anything that matches logic. It appears to be logical. Logic is something very good for lawyers. They use logic to prove anything wrong. They are very smart. Any lawyer can prove anything to be true. That is the nature of logic. And the Buddha's teaching is not in that way logical. But you can use Buddha's teaching in a systematic way, but you cannot say that Buddha's teaching is logical. That is why Buddha said this is atakkavachara. This you cannot grasp the meaning of Dhamma by logic. For instance, you experience craving. Buddha said, Yayang tanna pono bhavika nandi raga sagata tatra vinandi. This craving is repetitive. It is accompanied by lust and desire, craving, joy and lust. Then therefore it anytime when it arises, joy arises and craving arises. And that itself is a cause of suffering. And logically you cannot prove it, but experientially you can prove that it is true. So the Buddha's teaching is to be investigated mindfully to understand its truth. So when this kind of investigation is not within us, then we have to use mindfulness to arouse this investigation in us, to investigate even the Dhamma impartially, to see the truth in it. Friends, this is a very big subject. I will continue this day after tomorrow again on the same topic. I have not finished talking about the investigation of Dhamma factor of enlightenment. For now, I think this may be enough for today's Dhamma talk, and I want to end this wishing once again, sending our metta towards all beings, especially those who are affected, infected by this very unfortunate COVID-19. It is heart-rendering news that we hear every day. So many people are down with this COVID-19 and hospitalized, and we want to see how much they suffer from this virus, and we want to wish them to recover from this virus very quickly and return to normal life and live long in very good health, in peace and happiness. And at the same time, there are people who have lost their loved ones purely because this COVID-19, and some passed away, some for some other reasons, and but they are grieving. May they be free from their grief, and through the understanding of Dhamma come to normal state and continue their Dhamma practice to deepen their understanding of Dhamma and the nature of life, so that they can live very peaceful, happy life for the rest of their lives. And others, like doctors, nurses, hospital staffs, who are very wonderful people, compassionate people, trying to help these patients, and we want to wish them to continue their very noble service without themselves being infected by this virus, and continue their noble service and live long in good health to do their wonderful service. There are many generous people who have helped, are helping these projects to discover, invent the vaccine which may appear in market for people to get injected very soon, at least maybe by the end of the year. And we hope it will come soon and help people. And those people who are very generous continue their very marvelous, compassionate, generous act. And overall, there are many leaders who are doing their best to help these people. May they continue their service, and may wisdom, knowledge, understanding arise in those who have not yet made right decision. For them to make right decision, may they have wisdom, understanding, determination, above all, compassion for everybody. With this metta wish,